Hello, everybody. This is Danny Enriquez bringing you another lesson from TI Enrichment Programs. And today we are going to be talking again about using fresh herbs and what are some popular fresh herbs that you may want to try with your next dish. Also, how to select them, how to store them, and just kind of, hoping to kind of debunk the mystery that can be fresh herbs and looking at it. All right. So, a lot of people either don't cook with these herbs because they don't know what to pair them with, or some people may not use fresh herbs because they buy a little bit and it goes bad. Well, we're going to talk about how to store them, how to maximize their freshness to make sure that they are, great to use and when to use them, how to store them, and all this sort of good stuff. Because cooking is one of my favorite things to do. It's one of the it's a little bit of stress relieving. It takes your full mindfulness, to cook inside the kitchen. It's healthier for you because you are in control of what ingredients you're putting into your cooking. And so we're just gonna. There's so many benefits to that. What I just dropped into the comment box is a link to our forms. There's a lot of benefits for filling out the survey. If you could take a couple seconds and fill out that survey, let us know how we're doing. Let us know how we can better serve you as our community, what you want to learn, maybe what different ways that we can bring you these content. And also, just, and then you'll also put yourself in the running for some awesome prizes, some gift cards, different things that may come up for you to do with that. So we are going to go ahead and we're going to get started and using cooking with fresh herbs, using, storing, and all this sort of great awesomeness. All right, so cooking with fresh herbs. As I said, I'm Danny Enriquez, resident educator for Carrollton Oaks. So these are herbs here, and some of the most popular ones, and they all have very distinct flavors. Some of them are a little bit more, close to each other, but we're going to go into, what these look like, what the best way to cook with them are, some that get a little bit confusing to, how to use. So basil will definitely go into, some coriander, not arugula, but that is one that has a very distinct taste. Mint, we'll get into bay leaves, we'll get into chives, some thyme, rosemary, oregano. We'll also talk about if you want to start up your garden. I know it's pretty cold out there. I know we got a winter storm kind of blowing through the country right now, but as that starts to pass up, as we get into our next month of March, these are going to be great to start seeing, maybe even starting your own herb garden and, project to get started, you know, even with the family. So first, let's talk about fresh versus dried herbs. So it's just a matter of preference. It matters how you're going to use them, how how strong you want your flavors to be, and again, what dish you're going to kind of be using them in. So for dried herbs, you want to use that for dishes that are simmering longer than 45 minutes. And this could be stews, this could be soups, stuff that you put in a slow cooker and you just kind of let cook all day. You want to use dried herbs because they're going to, pack a stronger and more condensed flavor. Uh, so for using dried herbs, though, dried herbs, make sure a lot of people will have dried herbs and they just kind of store them. And that's the great thing about them is that dried herbs definitely last a lot longer than your fresh herbs. But they still will lose their flavor and they should be replaced once a year. I know even, as I go to, different pantries and look for different things to cook with, always in the back there's that, bottle of dried herbs that just kind of sat there and and just you're not sure when last it was used or when it was bought or when but they do lose their flavor and should be replaced once a year. And so in the drying process, there's also a substantial loss of nutrients. And that's one of the benefits of cooking with fresh herbs is that it gives you more nutrients and gives you more flavor, to help, with your healthier cooking. So growing your own, we said next month. As the warmer weather starts to get to us, it'd be probably great to start tending your soil, maybe getting some pots, um, and looking at different ones that you want to try to, start to grow your own. And so right now, there's things that are available in the grocery store that you can start experimenting with. And then if you like that flavor and you want to use it a lot in your cooking, you can definitely, start to see how to grow these on your own. But growing your own, the benefits for that is you can cut the sprigs right the moment before you use it. And that's going to ensure the maximum flavor and the maximum nutrition. All right. And what we talk about sprigs is a branch, kind of branching from the middle of the plant and going towards the outside. Those are what the sprigs called. You're going to create less waste by cutting only what you need. So if we buy them from the store, those plants are already on their way of decaying and dying and becoming rotten. And so, but if it's growing, if you cut what you need, the rest of the plant is still healthy and it's still growing, as long as you don't overcut what you need, and there's still the central core of the plant. So when you're using this, you want to snip with some scissors, and this just kind of, is a little bit more accurate than just picking up the leaf with your plant. If you have a stubborn leaf and you pick a leaf off, it could, bring a whole sprig with it or even uproot the plant. So you want to use scissors to be more accurate rather than using your hand. And you want to remove older leaves to encourage growth. And the older leaves are always going to be towards the outside. So you want to start snipping leaves from the outside and work your way in. And as you see the plant start to mature, you'll start to see leaves when they get to their maximum, their maximum size. And then you'll know that those are the ones to, and then you'll see the baby ones that are just sprouting out, and you want to give those time to mature to, before you start to cut those. So what we talked about, buying from the store is a great sample. And you've probably seen these packs. They're in the produce aisle, usually with the, sprays and in different things like that. But you'll see this, and these packages open, for you to inspect the plant. So we want to encourage you to open those so that you can inspect what you're getting and make sure that you're not seeing signs of decay or mold. All right. So you want to pick these up closest to your cooking time as possible. Whether it's a day or two later, or even the same day, you want to pick them up to as close as you want to use. So you don't want to, pick them up for next week. You want to make sure that you're picking them up for the soup that you're going to make tonight, or the dish that you're going to make tonight or tomorrow. You want to look for bunches with vibrant colors and aroma, right? So these should be deep colors, dark greens, bright greens, whatever is, the plant that you're going for, the herb that you're going for. And then you want to give it a smell test. You want to smell. If you cannot smell, the distinct scent of these herbs, then you might want to pick a one in the back. And also a grocery secret. Normally when they stock their herbs and spices, they'll put the fresher ones towards the back so that people are buying, older ones up, first, because usually when we are at the grocery store, we'll grab the closest one and we'll put it into our bag, and then we're off and away. So actually, if you look for the ones that are towards the back, those are actually the freshest ones. So just a little tips of the trade that I learned over the years. So you want to avoid limp and soggy bundles with any kind of discoloration or black spots or yellowing. All right, if it doesn't look good, doesn't look healthy, and everyone's walking around with their phones, go ahead and look up a picture of these different herbs that you're getting and see what healthy plants look like. So when I said that, these are in the aisles that, have the spraying mechanism, and they're, the spraying and giving off the thunder sound to, I guess, give the plants a sensation that they're still out in nature. So oftentimes they give the illusion of freshness, but overwatering encourages rot and mold. Right, and it always tends to happen like right when I get there. When I reach out for a plant, it's always like starting to water and things like that. So we'll talk about that. If it does get sprayed, which they are going to get sprayed, but if they do get sprayed, we'll talk about some ways that you can still ensure freshness and how to store them. All right, so let's talk about that now. So storing your herbs. So when you buy these, you want to remove any bindings, any twisty ties, any rubber bands, any like plastic packaging that they may be in. You want to get rid of those, first and foremost. Then you want to snip the roots. Like, right, you just got a fresh Valentine's Day is coming. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone. You want to snip the roots, just like you get a fresh bouquet of flowers. You snip the roots and allow those, and then put them in a vase of water. And we don't want to put them in a vase of water, but we do want to snip the roots. And then you want to wrap them in a slightly damp paper towel, slightly damp, and then you want to place them in a Ziploc bag, right? Not too wet, not too soaking, because again, that extra moisture can encourage rot and mold. All right. Now, most of us, when we put them in a bag, we take out all the air because we want to, we feel that air is going to be bad for it. But actually, we want to make sure that there's a little air on the inside of your bag when you're putting your herbs and storing your herbs. All right, and then place this in the warmest part of the fridge. And if you're not sure where that is, it's actually right inside the door. Right when you open the door, there's a couple of those shelves in there, and that's where you want to keep it, right? Because it's furthest away from the air conditioning in the back, and it's closest to the front. And then you want to use them ASAP, as soon as possible, just like we talked about. Okay? All right, so preparing your herbs. Use a sharpened blade to cut or to process. So whether you put them in a processor or you have a knife that you're going to cut them with, make sure the blade is sharp, because if it's a dull blade, it's just going to squish the plants and not cut them. And the squishy plants will start to, not ensure the texture that you're getting. Instead, it just smushes them. Chop them as finely as possible. So as small as you can get them, chop them as finely as possible to unleash that flavor into your cooking. And then you also want to chop them right before use. You want to make sure that they are, right before they go into whatever you're cooking, you chop them up and you put them in. So when do you use them? So subtle flavors you use in the beginning of cooking. If you want a more robust flavor, stronger flavors, then you use it at the end. All right, the more it cooks, the more it's going to lose that flavor. All right, and the less time it has cooking, it's going to be a stronger flavor for you. Okay, so now we're going to get into some popular herbs and spices, and we're also going to talk about what to pair them with. What their flavors are, and what are some different ideas for foods that you can start to add these into. So flavor for basil is licorice and cloves. All right, it definitely has that kind of distinct flavor, of those two things. If you don't know licorice and cloves, grabbing a basil leaf will give you a good taste of that. It's hard to kind of describe, but I think licorice and cloves are kind of a good comparison. You want to pair this with tomatoes. A lot of Italian dishes use this one. Chicken, you can use it and scramble it with some eggs. You can put it on top of your pizza as a full leaf, and that also ensures green leaf salads. Mix it in with, your lettuce or whatever you're using for your salads. Bell peppers, if you're using stuffed bell peppers, zucchinis, and fruits. Bay leaves. So most of these come in dried, but they do also have fresh ones. But if you get the dry, or if you get the fresh, you're going to get a more robust flavor. But this is herbal and floral, kind of a woody sort of taste. And this pairs with slow cooked sauces, stews and soups, stocks, whether it be beef stock or chicken stock, or even vegetable stock. Beans, chicken, lentils, potatoes, risotto, shellfish, and tomatoes. So anything that you're going to be cooking for a while, you put the entire bay leaf in. But bay leaves is one of the ones that you don't want to chop finely, and you don't want to cut up because it's such a hard texture. You want to put the entire leaf in there, let the dish absorb the flavor, and then take those leaves out before you eat. All right, chives. Now, the onion in sour cream and onion, and it has a light onion taste. And this little plant pairs well with eggs, potatoes, sauces, stews, soups, salads. You can mix it in with some mayonnaise. You can mix it up with butter, sour cream as well, vegetables, stir fry, and breads. And this is actually just a great topper to add a little bit of crunch, a little bit of onion flavor to your dish. You can just kind of sprinkle it on top and just have it go from there. Excuse me. And just have it go from there, and it's just kind of a good topping to have on your food. Cilantro, one of my favorites. Some people say this tastes kind of soapy. I guess when I heard that, I kind of tasted, but it's just pairs so well with some of my favorite dishes that I love the taste of it. It just brings out kind of a pop in some flavors, but it's bright and citrusy, and it pairs well with very spicy dishes, some salsas, chilies, curries, salads, some soups, chicken, fish, vinaigrette, and some fruits, which I haven't tried it with any fruit, but that'd be interesting to try. Dill. We go from one of my favorites to probably one of my least favorite ones. So this is a combination of celery, fennel, and parsley. And it pairs best with fish, beans, hard-boiled eggs. And this is another one that you maybe don't want to cook with the dish, but it's a topping that you can add in, to give it a little bit more distinct flavor. Beets, soup, sour cream, cream cheese, dressing, yogurt, chicken, potato salad, and meats. So, okay, going on to mint, a very awesome one, I think, to grow in a garden, because even on a hot day, just picking one of these leaves fresh and just chewing on it, can really give a cool down flavor, that minty flavor. And it's still healthy than maybe a stick of gum that may have too much sugar. So it's a sweet, fresh, and slightly astringent taste. And it pairs great with lamb, chocolates, pork chops, jelly, sauces, cocktails, and fruits. So definitely a dessert herb if you're looking to add a little bit something to your desserts. Oregano. Oregano has a flavor of, it's a little bit sweet with some spiciness. And it pairs well with lambs, chocolate, pork chops, jelly, sauces, cocktails, and fruits. Another great one to grow in your garden, and easy to grow, I think, as well. Parsley. So a lot of people, including me, get parsley confused with cilantro. So if you are at the store, make sure that you double check what you're buying and that you are buying either cilantro or parsley. But this has a peppery bite, and it pairs well with fishes, stews, vegetables, salads, rice, soup, meatballs, pesto, sauces, marinades, banana, and fruits. All right, rosemary. This is another very woody one like the bay leaves. It's pine-like and it's astringent. And usually you cook with the full sprig, or you would take the leaves off of the sprig and add that into your dish. But it is very kind of tough texture. But this pairs best with lambs, potatoes, marinades. You could put it with some oil and give flavor to your oils. Fish, eggs, poultry, pork, tomatoes, and onions. All right, and sage. Sage is definitely one of my favorites to cook with. Very easy to grow, grows very quickly as well in the right conditions. And so this is slightly peppery with a touch of mint. And it pairs great with meats, sausage, cream, and cheese-based items, sweet and savory breads, stuffings, beans, potatoes, risottos, and tomato sauce. And so a lot of these, when you're preparing them, I would say even take out the stem of what you are cooking with. So the stem goes down the middle of the leaf. So if you can cut around that stem and discard the stem and then cut just the leaves, I think it makes for a little bit smoother texture when you're using it for your cooking. So, so that is our time. And I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope that you have gotten to, feel a little bit more courageous in your cooking endeavors, and try some of these, and especially see if maybe there's a chance where you can start cooking cooking with some different techniques and flavors in there. So have fun. Remember the form in the comment box. All right, stay warm this week, stay safe, and we'll see you next time, and take care, everybody.